Welcome back to another video, guys. We are in southeastern Ohio today, and we're going to be working on another project. Been very busy this fall, this summer, and to be honest, up to this point, just haven't prioritized the channel. Want to get back into the rhythm of things. Want to be shooting more content for you guys, as well as, hopefully, I do plan to do some self-filming this fall. It's going to be a little bit more stripped down. It's not going to be a big fancy camera, basically taken. Lone Wolf custom arm, as well as my phone and a microphone. That's about all I'm taking with. So I hope that you guys enjoy this content coming up. But for today, we're going to be looking at maximizing the profit on a timber sale. This particular property was recently inherited, and the new owner is needing to get some. She wants to keep the property, but she needs to get some money fairly directly, and for her, she's going to be utilizing the timber on this property as a means to do that. And so, when you're looking at maximizing return, we're going to be doing a little bit more of an aggressive harvest than what I typically do, and that's simply just what the landowner wanted to do on this piece. While I'm doing that, I'm still, we're not going to be high grading. We're going to be as aggressive with the low grade stuff as we are with the better timber. And so we're going to be getting a lot of light to the ground, a lot of regeneration. We should be getting a lot of oak regen when this is done. And, a big portion of this is going to be the way in which we conduct a timber sale. And that has a tremendous impact on the return that you receive on your timber. And so, she's not just getting a random person out and getting a random offer and, hey, that sounds good, let's go with it. She's getting somebody like myself. We're going to go through, actually mark the trees. She's going to know how many trees are being taken, the size of the trees, each species, a complete breakdown of what she's getting harvested. And then we're also getting a bunch of buyers in to put bids in on this timber. And by doing that, you're going to receive the maximum amount of money for your timber as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to basically go back. We'll start marking trees, and I don't know that I'll quite get it done today. It's a 77 acre parcel, and there's a big well pad on it and stuff to where not nearly all of that is timber. But there's basically some diversity on this piece already. There's a section that looked like it may have been cut in the past, and then other areas that looks like it hasn't been touched with some really nice timber in it. So it's got some dynamics to it. The poplar we're going to be a little bit more aggressive on, just because of the fact that it's going to regenerate so much quicker than some of these other trees, and you kind of want to stay on top of it, because it can you can quickly have a property where it's dominated by poplar and soft maple. So we're going to be looking at it from multiple different facets and trying to balance each one so that she has the outcome that she wants for this particular project. Let's hit the woods. It's not every day you find a decent shed. Good old Ohio mountain buck in September, almost October. Just up on this ridge, or sort of a point that drops down here. It's pretty cool. So on something like this, it's an absolutely massive black oak. I mean, it's got almost 1,400 board feet in it, which is very significant. So you've got a giant crown, giant top. You can see the understory here is wide open. So I'm looking at, removing this tree. There's quite a few white oaks on this point here. but you don't see a lot of white oak regeneration. You see mainly hard maple, some soft maple, some elm, hickory, that type of stuff. And so we're wanting to get that oak regeneration going. So we're going to be removing this tree. But when you're taking a tree out with such a large crown and canopy, I need to look around. I'm like, okay, what trees are going to be potentially taken down or injured or just in the way, frankly, of cutting this tree down. So I'm going to look around, make sure there's no other trees that, you know, are of marketable value that I'm going to mark as well, simply for the fact that they're going to be in the way. And this tree leans heavily that direction. And so, you know, pulling that tree away from those areas is going to be next to impossible given the size. So it's going to fall where it wants to fall. I just need to make sure there's no usable timber where that top is going to land. That way we can get that tree out first. It's kind of like, you know, putting a puzzle together. You know, you're looking at, you almost have to make a hole to throw the tree to be able to throw the next tree. And so having cut timber myself for years, that's something I'm looking at for, you know, the guys that are going to be doing this harvest. You know, are there trees that I need to remove to make that happen? But so when you're looking to maximize the return on your timber sale, there's a couple things that you need to keep in mind. And I've talked about this on my channel in the past, but I get a lot of new viewers, so I wanted to just drive this point home. And that is, you need to be in control of the sale. A lot of sellers go into selling their timber, you know, uneducated. You know, they may or may not need the money, and you know, they may or may not be desperate. And so, you know, you can have a buyer come in and pretty easily be able to tell if they, you know, think, okay, I think I'm going to be the only buyer in here, I could probably lowball it and get away with it. And then there's also, you know, elements of different buyers. Even if you got multiple guys in, different buyers wanting to harvest different trees. And so a couple things with that. One, you want to make sure that you are in control of the timber sale. And when you set the parameters of the sale and you decide which trees are being cut, you decide how the sale is going to happen, that leaves no room for you to be taken advantage of. And ultimately, you know, an educated landowner, the buyers are going to be able to pick up on that. Second of all, if you're going to, you know, work with somebody like myself, you know, the benefit of working with a consulting forester is, one, you know, you're going to get an unbiased look at, you know, your timber harvest. And you know, when I show up to a property, my first question to the landowner is, what are your goals for the piece? What are we trying to accomplish by doing this harvest? Are we looking at solely return on investment? Are we looking at doing a harvest more geared towards you know, whitetail habitat improvement? There's many different elements of that, or simply just long-term timber production. And so, you know, each one of those different goals are going to have a drastic different look at what timber gets cut. And so, you know, when I go in, I am marking each tree. You know exactly how many trees are being cut. The buyer knows which trees are being cut. And this is key. When you are getting multiple buyers in, and you should always minimum, even if you're going to sell timber, if you do nothing else, get multiple buyers in. You're at least going to see, you know, the range at which people are willing to pay for your timber. I mean, side note, I've seen sales when I'm conducting sales as low as $50,000 up to $100,000 on the same trees. And so that is why you want to get multiple buyers in. But back to, you know, marking the trees, when you have the trees marked beforehand and you have decided these are the trees that I want you to bid on, when buyers come in, they know what they're looking at. There's no confusion. And I've seen a lot of, I've heard, you know, stories of guys that have sold timber, and a guy comes in, you know, gives them an offer. Well, then the next guy comes in and it's way higher, and you know, so you know, even less trees. And so the seller thinks, oh, this is a fantastic deal. Obviously, I'm going to go with this person. What they didn't realize was they were only taking the high quality trees. They were not doing a management cut at all. And so when the job was done, there was nothing but beech left in his woods. And so because of that, you know, he will probably almost never have real good timber value in that property again, at least for a long time. And so, you know, a simple way to avoid that is to get a third party in, or even yourself. I work with, quite a few landowners that are perfectly capable or competent to be able to mark their own timber, and they know well enough what they want to be able to do that. But if you get your trees marked, you have a full breakdown of how many trees, and you get multiple offers, and then obviously, making sure you have a good contract, and I've got a bunch of different videos going over timber contracts. Check those out. But when you have all of those different things, you're going to get top dollar for your timber. You may not like the price that you get. You may think, well, in my mind, it's a lot of trees, it should be worth $100,000. But you get 6 bids, and they all range from $40,000 to $53,000. That is top of the market. That is what that timber's worth. And so, working with somebody like myself, there have been studies out of OSU and some other universities showing that landowners are definitely receiving more for their timber when they're working with a consulting forester. And that is simply because, guys like myself, we have the connections, we know what buyer is going to best fit your piece, and location wise, there's so many things that go into a timber sale. And time again, it is showing that you're going to be getting more for your timber when working through a consulting forester. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Stay tuned. We're going to be, I'm going to be doing weekly updates on the hunting season. If you enjoy that type of content, I will continue to do more timber related content as well on the side. So I'm trying to do a mix of both. These are two of my passions, and I'm love the fact that I can put them together. And so I hope you guys enjoy the content going forward. I'll see you in the next one.